to the Scarlet Wolf podcast. Today we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Lyson Nasiska. Very glad to join you. You see, I'm on my way to becoming a god. It hasn't quite happened yet. I'm working on it, but it is nice to talk to the people now and then. This is the guest you were expecting, yes?
Yes. We're also joined by my lovely co-host, Scarlet.
Hey there. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah. I think we should say right off the bat, we haven't recorded for a while because we've tried recording 2 times and both had unfortunate disasters happen. So, with our last podcast, the audio just messed up and we lost it. It was actually a pretty good episode. And
yeah, which is too bad.
Yeah.
I guess we could have saved the 2 of us talking and just left.
Yeah.
I can't believe his name. That one cat.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him back on. He's just busy. He's been relaunching stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, and then one was on my end. I got a cat a couple months ago. He ate my audio mic wire, and it took me a while to realize that he had.
Yeah, that one was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Tell me about your cat, though. I haven't heard about your cat at all.
Oh, I post them all the time in the Dice Funk Good Boy server. His name is Jax. He's like 1 year old. He's sort of still a kid. He's a Maine Coon. Really rambunctious. Jumps over everywhere. Loves to sleep on the fridge. He's just a crazy cat. Yeah, cool. Jay, do you have any pets?
I've just got fish. I mean, I don't really do a lot of, hands-on, and also I know pets have a habit of, eating your stuff, and I have a lot of stuff that they could eat. So I have fish, and they're in a glass box, and they're perfectly happy in there. So, yeah, 5 guppies. Yeah, they eat the flakes that I leave for them, but they don't eat any of their own furniture, and they don't eat any of my stuff.
Yeah, I got a fighting fish before the cat. Sadly, he passed kind of soonly after I got him.
Yeah, the fighting fish seem to have a fairly short lifespan, and I've heard that there's a lot of cleaning involved with them. Even like my first year of having fish, the fish tank, it builds up a lot of ammonia, and it usually takes a few cycles of fish before you get ones that'll be able to survive in the environment.
Yeah, I had one as a kid that lived like a year or 2, but I think we had it in the wrong tank back then too. I just had a fish bowl.
Yeah, no, I mean eventually over time the ammonia will create bacteria to dissolve the ammonia, but it's really rough on the first generation of fish to live in a tank usually.
Yeah.
I had guppies when I was a kid. I tried breeding them.
I mean, the best luck I've had is when you buy one that's already pregnant, so they have their babies in the tank, and the babies grow up used to that. They don't have the shock of transferring from one tank to another.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's really
cool.
So, Jade, tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, yeah, so I had meant to listen to an episode of this to, see what your show was about before joining, but, I guess I'm going to assume anybody listening to this is probably in some way connected or aware of the Funkyverse community. So if they've heard of me, it's from there.
Yeah, mostly.
Because, I was around basically at the founding of it, which was 4 years. Yeah, it was 2016. Yeah, I'm getting confused because my podcast started early 2017. My Shack Funk podcast, which was a follow-up to the short-lived Funk Dunk Plays podcast, which was the first podcast we did. Anyway, 2016. So Kirstine Haslinger, aka Random Web Person, decided to try to unite all the people who were chasing Austin around on Twitter into a forum so that we could talk about Dice Funk, and Word Funk was still a thing then too. So Word Funk, Dice Funk, Game Crunk, all those shows. So since I was pretty active on Twitter at the time, I jumped right in on that and helped set up the forum. And then Kirstine and I and Dash Sean the Rage Monster, who you might notice as one of the mods on the Funky Shack server, Discord server. He was also on the podcast. He was one of us early on. Eugene was also one of like the early mods back then. I think I'm pretty sure I can't remember if we gave him mod status actually. I know Dragenda had it, but yeah, no. So anyway, yeah. So the three of us did Funk Dunk Plays for like a few months, or not Funk Dunk. It was just Funk Dunk. Funk Dunk Plays was we did our own D&D game because we wanted to do one. Season 2 of that is where Elisa first came from, and I have since spun her out into multiple other campaigns. I just can't stop playing her, but it's fun. She's developing over time. She was very angsty when she started out, and she's actually pretty happy with herself now. But yeah, so
That's cool. Character development.
yeah, because she started off as a UNT pureblood who was kind of pissed that she was the lowest level UNT. She felt like she deserved better, and over the course of Funk Dunk Plays, she never actually got to ascend at all. So she was just really cranky. And then the second campaign I brought her into, the DM for that actually leveled her up pretty quickly. She's, full-bodied snake now, like Cordelia. So, but yeah, so Funk Dunk Plays ended. It was hard for us to keep meeting together, trying to sync up our schedules. But I wanted to keep doing a podcast, so I created Shack Funk, and for couple of years. I remember it was February of 2017 because the Lego Batman movie had just come out, and that's all anyone wanted to talk about for the first 4 weeks of that show. People were asking me my thoughts on Lego Batman movie. So yeah, I was pulling in different guests every week. At the time I was a lot more energetic about the idea of I want to talk to everyone on this forum because we didn't have a Discord yet. There was no way for people to talk to each other, so nobody had actually heard each other's voices.
Sounds really fun.
So I was just pulling them all into my show, and that was a lot of people's vocal introduction to the community.
Yeah.
And then I started getting repeat guests. I should probably also say, if you want to get a guest from Dice Funk, you could try asking Lauren, because she's I never had a problem getting her on the show. I think she came to me first.
That would be really one of the coolest things to happen. To me.
Yeah, I would love
ever.
to actually get her on here.
Yeah, Lauren and Skitch, if you if you can find schedule time for Skitch. I mean, I think that might be an issue sometimes, but Skitch also isn't that hard to get on the show. Austin, I have talked to, but it was for 20 minutes for the Kirstine birthday episode because he's so busy. It's hard to get him on for stuff. But yeah, and I don't know what Johnny's doing lately. He might be busy because they couldn't get him on Shard Point.
Sometimes I talk to him. I'll shoot him a message and see what's going on.
Yeah, because you might be able to get him on a show too. And whenever you get one of those Dice Funk guests on, that's when you really get the clicks on your episodes, like the Lauren episodes and the Sketch episodes. That's where all the the views for my show really come in.
Jade's giving us all the cheat codes.
Yeah, because at this point, I am happy to just be recording with Brent. I mean, we have a good rapport. I don't have to, wonder about like what kind of audio setup does this person have, because I already know what kind of audio setup he has. Because that's when you're getting different people on, like sometimes you'll get someone with a lot of background noise, sometimes you get someone like their microphone's all muffly. It's kind of a crapshoot, but
yeah.
But yeah. So Brent and I just catching up every 2 weeks has just been the way my show's going now.
Yeah. I'll say that actually this show was heavily inspired by Shaq Funk. If anyone's
it is.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't listened to a whole lot of Shaq Funk, but like this is very much in the same vein.
Yeah, and my show was based on word funk, so it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
It's that the Super Best Friend cast a little bit, and then we go way back the co-optional podcast. Though we don't have 5 people.
Yeah, no. Once 3 audio streams is manageable. Once you start getting past that, it's hard to keep things in sync for editing. And to like have to clean up, if you get like a little bit of background noise in one of them, and you have to like scroll up and down the bars, like, okay, which one was it? Highlight that, silence that. Although I have found over time that people actually don't care that much about if there's like a little bit of tapping in the background or if there's a little bit of noise. It's like people accept usually that. Like I was listening to the Weekly Planet podcast, and I found that there's times when James's son will just wander into the audio, and they just leave it in. And I'm listening to it and saying, yeah, I don't really have a problem with this. So I think it's easy as an editor to be more fussy than you need to be.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm curious because I've mentioned this before. I kind of joined around season 5 into the Discord, and the Dice Funk in general. Were those Dice Funk's plays? Were those actually like set in the Dice Funk universe?
The Funk Dunk Play podcast thing that we did, or okay, yeah. No, those.
Oh yeah, sorry.
They were separate. They were. Sean had created. I think he went back to a world he'd created in like high school and put us in it for our first campaign, where Kirstine was an Azamar, half angel, named Skywalker. So I had said as a joke that because of the Chuck Tingle story pounded in the butt by my handsome living corn, that I wanted to play a sexy ear of corn. So since we had a Skywalker, I'm like, okay, it needs to be a Star Wars pun. It's gonna be Cornobi. And Cornobi was like Red Sonja if she was an anthropomorphic ear of corn, in a chainmail bikini with a little red tuft of hair. So, and that was about the extent of her character. I spent most of the season like not knowing what this character wants. So then season 2 started around. I think it must have been when season 4 of Dice Funk was going on, because I had been inspired by Katarina, the like the evil but very like I really dug Katarina and just her whole fighting back against society stuff in season 4 of Dice Funk. I mean, I was heartbroken when she died, but I inspired by that, I was like, okay, I want to make a complex evil character, and that's where Elisa came from. She's really fun, and just, but also like so flawed in just a lot of ways. So that was season 2 of that. We were playing that, but then I can't remember, we must have run into a roadblock or something. It never actually finished the campaign. And that's part of why I've still been playing this character for years after, because it's like I want to finish her story and just keep playing her. But it was a separate world. I think season 2 only vaguely reference season 1, so even those were kind of their own worlds. Although I had on the forum, like back in season 2, I thought, okay, yeah, we're all here as a community, and the players can see us now, so why don't we start playing in their world? And I had started doing like fanfics and stuff set in the world, trying to come up with like a lore and a mythology behind Gorfanax and Zavala and all these cool monster things. And then late into season 2, Austin just dropped the whole Wheel of Forms thing on us, and it's like, okay, this is so much cooler than anything I had thought up, and also completely ignores anything I had thought up. And then I just kind of gave up on it. I mean, like, I still wrote stuff, and I still, like, I would still reference my own stuff, but, yeah. And there's been, you know, I haven't really been part of them, but I know there's been other community projects set in, like, the Dice Funk Expanded Universe. There was, like, a group based in Season 3. They called themselves the Lightbringers, and they had their own campaign. And now there's, who is it? Supernova, I think, is running, like, campaigns. Yeah, like, he had me set up a bunch of...
Oh, yeah, I'm actually in
like, he had me set up
campaigns.
The boxes for them.
Oh, wow, nice.
Said he wanted to set stuff in the Dice Funk world, and it's like, yeah, it's a fun idea. Just don't expect the players to ever acknowledge it, because they won't.
Oh, yeah. We haven't, at least the ones I've been in, have been sort of self-contained. They're not related to Dice
Yeah,
Funk
I mean, like, the players have gone on record as being, like...
Yeah. In fact, one of them is not even D&D.
Yeah, like, the players are very anti-extended lore.
Yeah.
Like, they want to do, you know, like, their characters, but they don't want to, you know, build out a universe, really.
Yeah. That always sucks for me because I love lore.
Yeah.
I love when lore connects. But
Yeah, I do
respect
too,
their
but
decision.
I understand why they don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a ton of work to make your lore connect, and I can barely think of things with good lore, like honestly good lore that connects all the way through, like Lord of the Rings.
And that had only one off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm a big fan of the Elder Scrolls lore, but it's not good. I'm gonna get shot for saying that, but, like, a lot of it doesn't connect, and a lot of it exists just to retcon other stuff, and it's just like comic books, but, there are a lot of points where, like, the fan base felt kind of betrayed by Bethesda's changing the lore in different cases. Like, the hardcore old school fans were like, what? Cyrodiil isn't a swamp? Because technically it was supposed to be swampland, according to the lore, but they changed that for Oblivion when that came out. And then they had to have lore reasons for it, and the lore reason for it is completely insane and involves both versions of Cyrodiil existing at the same time or something like that. It's been years since I read the Elder Scrolls lore, but yeah, it needs work.
Yeah, I think that... Oh, good. Yeah. I think that happens with every major franchise. I mean, look at Star Trek or Star Wars.
I mean, like, I love Star Wars lore. It's dumb as shit, and I mean, like, the main thing where it lost me is when Disney took over and then said we're rebooting it all, because up till that point they had been making efforts to try to bring it all together, you know, as much as it didn't make sense. That, like, if you bring the Marvel comics back into continuity, then that means that Boba Fett fell into the Sarlacc, got out of the Sarlacc, was mistaken for a droid, picked up by the Jawas, and then the Sandcrawler fell back into the Sarlacc, and then he got back out of the Sarlacc and teamed up with, you know, Dengar. It was because there were two stories. There were two separate stories of Boba Fett getting out of the Sarlacc. Crazy. And if you say that both of them are canon, that means he got out and went back in and got out again. Which is dumb, but it's still, you know, like
Yep. And then he
yeah,
couldn't
but
be in
then
the
it's like
Mandalorian.
I still I enjoyed the lore and just that they tried to make things make sense even when they didn't. And then Disney's like, nope, we're throwing it all out, and now we're gonna make new stuff, and it's going to look very much like the original trilogy all the way through because that's the only thing people can agree on liking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I still haven't
it is
seen that last Star
dumb.
Wars
I don't
film.
know if it's dumb enough to recommend as so bad it's good, but if the idea of Rey being a surprise Palpatine is something you find as hilarious as I do, then
Well, I think it'd make me angry because I'm one of the few people I feel like
oh, I
likes
mean,
The Last
it's
Jedi.
it's completely split on Last Jedi. You either love it or you hate it, or you're indifferent to it. But most people either love it or hate it.
Yeah, because...
Oh, I love The Last Jedi. Yeah, I'm one of the
Yeah.
people who love it. I know a lot of people who don't, and I totally get why, but I don't know, it just works for me.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
a super good
The
defense
last
of it.
one, the reason I haven't watched it is everyone kept telling me is like, yeah, they tried to hard shut down everything that last movie did. Like The Last Jedi did.
Yeah. No, yeah. They counter a lot of the stuff it did, and they try to bring it back to what Force Awakens did, but they failed to do that too. Because, my opinion on the sequels is that I loved Force Awakens. My issues with Last Jedi are mainly in the ways that it, contradicts or shuts down Force Awakens. And Rise of Skywalker is just a bad, poorly made movie all the way around. It's, even just from an editing standpoint, it's bad.
I feel they needed one director or one guy writing all the scripts for it because I know they got multiple directors, multiple script writers. Just get one unified vision if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, and they should have come up with a layout plan from the start. Just a not necessarily in depth, but okay, what is Rey's character arc gonna be? What's Kylo Ren's character arc gonna be? We'll have them have this stuff happen in the first movie. They make progress in the second movie, and they reach this end point in the third movie. Just so it tells a cohesive story.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I don't think it needs to be one person doing it, because look at the Marvel movies; those turned out
I'm kind of
all right.
basically
Like the road to the road to Endgame worked out. Like, you can't really say it didn't, because it was a smashing success at the box office. Like, whether or not it works for you personally is a completely different thing, but as far as
I guess what I'm
Disney's
saying is that
concerned,
I want a Kevin Feige.
So,
you know how with Marvel they have one guy kind of overseeing it, but he's letting other people have their vision with it.
Yeah, and it seems like Dave Filoni might be taking that role, at least for the TV side of Star Wars. That he's involved in Clone Wars, Mandalorian, Rebels, Resistance to a lesser extent, but he's got a finger in all these things. So there is someone there who can give input, and he's a big nerd on the lore stuff. So if you have Disney Plus, I'd recommend watching the behind the scenes documentaries they've put out on Mandalorian, because they're really interesting. Just in the technical aspect, showing how they filmed that on they built a set and then projected the background so the actors could be there in the scene, but also still have CG elements around that they could actually see because they were on the screens behind them. But also you get to see the directors, you get to see Dave Filoni talk, and all the other directors they have there, they talk like action movie direct, they care about the characters, they care about the scenes, and then you get to Filoni and he's just talking about Plo Koon and this costume that he made, and he's got this one moment where he talks about why the fight scene between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul at the end of Episode 1 is pivotal to the whole saga, and it's just fascinating to hear him talk about this.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I feel like with The Mandalorian, they really went back to, and I don't want to give him complete credit, but what George Lucas did back in the old Star Wars films, which were basically kind of homages to old samurai and old cowboy flicks. Sorry, my grandfather was like a huge samurai uh, film nerd.
Yeah, I think they bring that up in the documentaries, how it's like a merging of like East and West is what they were
Yeah,
going for.
yeah. There's some scenes in The Mandalorian I've seen like that look almost like direct references to some famous samurai films.
Hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, they probably
Yeah,
were. Like the
like
the
that.
episode where
That's pretty
they
cool.
train all the villagers to fight back against the raiders
Yeah,
was like specifically pulling from what was it, Yojimbo or Sanjuro, one of those.
yeah. I
Or,
think Yojimbo,
yeah,
or it might be Seven Samurai. Well, Seven Samurai wouldn't work that much, but yeah, it
yeah,
could be
one of
both.
those.
Yeah. Yeah, or like that scene where I think he's like surrendering to a group of people surrounding him, and he does that kind of quick move with his gun. I've seen both some Italian westerns. I actually couldn't pin it down, but I've seen that move done before in a couple films.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, what have you guys been doing with your weeks?
On my end, I've just been going hard on the Persona series. Uh, I'm still trying to do Persona 5 on Merciless, 100% social link, but I didn't read a book in time, and I didn't, what else didn't I do? And I didn't feed my plant in time, so now I'm not as kind
Oh.
as I'm supposed to be, which means that that I might not be able to ask this girl out on time.
So you're pretty
Uh,
grumpy.
yeah.
Oh no, you're gonna go around doing the finger snaps.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, I was late delivering a pizza, and now the Green Goblin's attacking.
I already do that.
Oh man. Now I can only picture that one. You probably guys don't even know what I'm talking about. That one clip of the Game Grumps playing the Spider-Man 2, where he's like, "He's doing it, Spider-Man. He's doing it." I'll link. I might put
You'll
the
have
clip
to link me to it later.
in the podcast
I'm a
too.
big fan of the Game Grumps, so.
Yeah. uh,
Anyway, I've also been playing Persona 2 because I got discouraged after I found out I wasn't kind enough in Persona 5. I figured it would be easier to follow a guide for Persona 2. And so far it is, except I detoured into the casino because I absolutely had to have one of the weapons that was in there. And that's where I got stuck, on the slot machines. So I could be saving the world right now, but I really, really gotta
yeah. Well,
get
I
some more
remember
coins.
when I was young, I used to love Ape Escape 2. And I would play the little. There was like a little slot machine that you could
Yeah.
like bang on, and it would like give you different items. And I used to play that just for hours, just a slot machine.
Yeah, I am pretty fond of gambling in video games, but not so much gambling in real life. Uh, but at the same time, my roommate and I were just talking about this. He kind of convinced me that gambling of any form just probably shouldn't be in video games. And his reasoning here was because there's always the chance that a kid could play it, and then you're predisposing them to be
That
addicted
is a
to
good point.
gambling later in life. Because, in my experience, there was the first Pokemon game. There's a slot machine in that, and while it's not as, you know, great as the slot machines in like casinos and stuff, it's permanently cemented in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I got Porygon. Like, to me, like there will always be like a prize behind the counter waiting to be won.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I do occasionally, but my family likes to go up to the casino, so occasionally I'll do a little bit. But yeah, it's bad if you have a addictive personality. I completely
that's
get that.
fun.
I have some family members that were like that.
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah, I definitely have an addictive
yeah, I was gonna say
personality.
because like I also played the slot machine in Pokemon, and I think it planted in my idea in my brain the idea that it's kind of a ripoff because it's like the odds are so bad of getting the coins. I just end up going and buying the coins so I can buy the thing. Like buy
Yeah,
Porygon by buying coins to exchange for Porygon. But at the same time, stuff like Magic cards and Pokemon cards is kind of a gambling addiction that I have and I've had since being a kid. Because it's like, hey, you buy a pack of cards and it's like, oh, I got some cool stuff, and you buy another one. It's like, wow, I got a super rare. Now I got to buy more so I can get more of them. It's like, and then the next few are duds, but then you keep buying them because maybe you go get the good one.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with Pokemon cards as much as I do with loot
Yeah, like
boxes.
digital goods are worse.
Like,
Yeah.
if you pay attention to Jim
Because,
Sterling at
like,
all,
digital goods, you don't actually own anything, and they can just take it all
yeah,
away if the server shuts down.
yeah. I had one little
exactly.
like when I was young, a little addiction to something kind of like that. I used to just waste quarters on claw machines when I was young.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, I completely agree. Especially like loot boxes and shit that actually make you pay for it. That's just scummy as shit.
Yeah, and like claw machines, I find it really depends on the machine. It's like if after a couple tries you find you drop the claw exactly on the thing and the claws just slip off, it's like, well, this machine sucks. I'm not gonna do this one.
Yeah.
But if it actually has a claw with enough like grip power that it can actually lift a thing up, then it starts to feel more like, okay, maybe I can actually win something if I keep playing this, and then it becomes addictive, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jade, what's been going on in your week? Or is there anything else in your week, Scarlet? I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, I'll let you finish
Um,
Jade?
first.
no, I'm good.
Let's see, anything from mine. I mean, it's mostly been work, but outside of work, let's see, let's see, Hyrule Warriors. I think last week well, it must have been over the course of the last week. I finally got Tweely Midna up to level 255, which is the highest you can go. So, no, I've just been trying to clear out the adventure maps, which on the Switch version is a lot easier than it was on the Wii U or 3DS versions, because they actually they like made an item shop, so you can go and buy the items you need to open up the things on the map, instead of having to replay the same battles over and over to get the items. Um,
Oh.
so, so it's a lot easier, which is good because there's all
Nice
of
of
the
them to put that
previous
in.
game's DLC in this game, so there's like 10 or 12 adventure maps to get through. Each one with, how big is that grid? It's like 14 by 18 squares, each one with a mission. There's a lot, but since I have one very powerful character, as long as I'm not stuck on a mission where they say, oh, you can only play as Agatha, and say, well, I didn't level her up. So as long as I don't get stuck on one of those, I can must. Otherwise, my therapist keeps suggesting that I start exercising again, and I've kind of fallen off playing Just Dance. So just yesterday, I found Ring Fit Adventure, so I'm starting to play that now.
Yeah. I I definitely need to get back into shape too.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My
Yeah.
situation isn't
I
great
used to work out a lot,
either.
but after some medical stuff that happened, I couldn't work out for a while, and it's been hard getting back into the groove of it.
Mm.
Back when I was performing masculinity, I was a
Uh,
big muscle head and kind of a jock.
Yeah, I mean, I find with this game, I need to make sure that I have time to shower after if I'm gonna play it, because it does get you pretty sweaty.
oh yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to
Yeah.
get to it
So,
today, because this afternoon I'm going to be going to the card shop to play Magic. Because I guess that's the other thing I've been doing. I built a new Magic deck. It's red-black and
Yeah.
it causes pain.
Yeah, I actually need to do that once this.
Sorry, you cut out there. I couldn't hear what.
The new Magic deck I built. It's red and black and it causes pain. It's got stuff like Havoc Festival, which is a card that makes everybody lose half their life each turn.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Karavek, who makes all creatures get -1/-1, except for him. So
Ouch.
any small creatures that come out just die on entry.
Oh, cool. I've been actually meaning to go to my.
Yeah. I just learned Magic.
Go ahead. No, it's
We need
alright.
like a virtual
Sorry.
talking stick to pass
Didn't
around.
mean to interrupt. I just learned Magic.
This happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Brown Wolf talk over each other all the time. Anyway, I just learned Magic about 2 weeks ago. Well, relearned it because I first played it on the Xbox, but my memory is terrible, so I had to learn it again. And I played a white and what was the other color? I want to say, no, I can't remember what other color it was. It was mostly white though.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the game, so it can be hard to keep track.
I lost, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to actually head to my local shop and start finding games. Before the whole pandemic happened, I was actually setting up a local D&D group because I had just started playing and wanted to do it locally, but things kind of changed like that week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Would love to actually try to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a kid, I used to love Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hmm.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's cool. I never got into it. I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged though.
Yeah, like the.
Actually, I'm sure I would be.
I was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say, yeah, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Switch, Legacy of the Duelist, I think is what it's called. That was like I started playing some of it. I've kind of fallen off of it again, but that one got me up to speed on some of the newer mechanics. Cause yeah, I played Yu-Gi-Oh before GX happened, so I didn't know like any of the new card types they'd put in or how they work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I would be terrible at it because the way we used to play it in school, we were learning the rules from the show, and from what I understand, that's not how those rules work in the actual play. So.
Yeah, the rules in the show get closer to the game when you
Nope.
get to Battle City, but the rules for the Duelist Kingdom with Pegasus are just complete bullshit. You can't
Yeah.
punch the moon with a sword. It doesn't work that way.
Oh my god. Oh man, I remember that I was listening to one of the seasons of Dice Funk, and they mentioned about punching the moon, and then I did like a roll in the server, and Skitch is like, "No, you can't punch the moon," but I was like, "I crit." Oh my god.
Well, way to crit on that roll. Once, I rolled to create a pocket universe, and I rolled 2 10, so like 100, and then I bet that I would get 100, and then the GM was like, "Sure, go fucking head." And I rolled, and I actually got it. So from then on, I had a little pocket universe in the in that campaign,
Oh
and
my
he just
god.
let me do whatever I wanted with it. But he wouldn't let me take anything out of it. I was just overseeing a little
Yeah.
side game.
I would love to have Nova on here. Because the first campaign, the D&D campaign I played, I made a character I love called, I think it's called. She was called Captain Rose Silverclaws, I think. And I remember early on
Mm-hmm.
we were fighting Dracula. It was the whole premise.
Hmm.
Yeah, and there was this door that was
That's cool.
locked, and none of us could get in there. So eventually, I just like, can I just knock down the door? Try to knock it down. And it's like this is a big wooden reinforced steel door. He's like, you can try, and then I crit. And he's like, yeah, and he was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, and I also there was this treasure we were trying to get, and there was like a horny devil, I think it's called, or a spike devil. Yeah, and all the rest of the party were trying to play into it, just try to go along, but it was clear I was trying to curse it. So I actually persuaded it to leave. And he was so pissed.
Yeah, that's why you need a high charisma stat, so you can just ask things to not fight.
Oh, that was all what Captain Silverclaws was about. She was dumb as rock, but she loved to perform, and she loved to, she was just very charismatic is how she became captain.
I always wanted to play a character like that, but I always end up in games where it's very fight heavy. So, and like I'll try and defuse the situation.
I think
but
you were
then
in
the
that
fight
game,
will just
right?
happen
You were
anyway.
off and on. You were like a bard.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, that was a good campaign. It's too bad I wasn't able to actually pay attention to it. I was
Yeah. I
busy
love
with
it. Was,
other
I
stuff.
guess because it's my
but-
first campaign. I loved playing that character. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good character.
Okay. Is there anything else you were doing, Jade? I know we got off
Nah,
topic.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, I'll get into what I've been doing lately. Since I've watched a couple movies scattered since the last recording. Let's see. The one that's pertinent to this podcast. I did actually watch Scoob.
Oh, I saw that too. Yeah.
Was not. Yeah.
Oh
It
yeah, you
was
finally
not
got
great.
around to it?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw it for the first time too.
I think-
and it was. I had to go look on Rotten Tomatoes to make
Oh.
sure I didn't miss something important, and I didn't. It's at like a 50%.
Yeah. This is gonna sound terrible, but I feel like the pandemic did this movie a favor. Because I think a lot of people would have been mad if they paid for this.
Yeah.
It feels like a
Yeah.
yeah.
It does feel like like the animation is very good, but the
Yeah.
story feels like it's just straight to video.
Yeah, straight to video or like a Cartoon Network movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame too. I'm a big Hanna-Barbera fan. They had a lot of potential. They did bring a lot of Hanna-Barbera characters into the movie, but they didn't do much with them. And
Yeah, it's because they were trying to set it up to be its own
Yeah.
extended universe, and then they saw how the movie was, and then kind of were like
but the
took steps back from that. So like, it's cool that they lay. I always appreciate it when they lay the groundwork for something like that, but at the same time, it has to work as its own thing. Like Avengers works as its own thing while it still lays the groundwork for other things.
yeah.
But Scoob doesn't.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it takes away from Scooby-Doo. You don't get a lot of the gang, like the mystery gang. It's mostly just Shaggy and Scooby. But even then, they're the classic parts. Like the things you expect to happen are only like really short because you have to make room for all these other characters that aren't that interesting. Like not even interesting compared to their old.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of felt like they
incarnations.
were making a Scooby-Doo movie, but ran out of things for Scooby to do because they had done so many Scooby movies already. So he's just like riding around in this Blue Falcon and Dynamite versus Dastardly movie that just happens to involve a story about Scooby and Shaggy
Yeah.
meeting as kids, and then Shaggy feels betrayed because Scooby took his collar off for the first time in however many years. I mean, his neck must have been filthy, but...
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing. Shaggy's kind of a dick in this movie, and from like every other Scooby property
Yeah, well,
I've ever
they
seen,
needed to
he's
force
never liked
conflict
this.
so they
It's
could
kinda
have a
weird.
resolution at the end. Where Scooby
Oh,
where
but-
Shaggy decides to descend into hell to
Yeah, I
save
know.
Scooby's life. Which I thought Mabim Bam was joking when they said that, but no, that really is what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought you were joking right now when you said that.
no, it's she's real.
Yeah. They open a
She's
portal
talking,
to the
that's
underworld,
actually
and one
happens
of
in
them
the
has
movie.
to go in to shut
Yeah.
it, so the other
Wow.
one
Hades,
can,
but
bullshit away to get them out of it later. But
yeah. I will say I did like one plot point. It wasn't executed great, but I do actually love why Dastardly is doing what he's doing.
I mean, I kind of wondered with the
Mhm.
movie's like heavy emphasis on dogs, if the fact that Muttley wasn't there was going to be significant.
It's very relatable. I'll spoil it. No one cares. Yeah, basically, accidentally, Muttley unfortunately got stuck in Hades, and Dastardly needs Scooby Doo because he's like, I guess, related to Cerberus or something.
Yeah, he was
and only
descended
can
from
unlock the gate.
Alexander the Great's dog.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's been a little bit since I've seen it.
Yeah, but Cerberus was also there. Like the
Yeah.
Cerberus gets out of the underworld, and they have a big action scene.
Oh, I just remembered something that you'll want to talk about, Brown Wolf.
What?
I watched B&A.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Jade,
Mhm.
have you seen B&A? It's the new Trigger anime?
No, is that the one with the raccoon person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She's a Tanuki.
Mm. Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of anime, so I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's pretty good. I would highly suggest it.
Yeah, I recommend it too. It's definitely worth seeing.
So, what's it about?
I'll let I explained last podcast. I'll let Scarlet go since she's fresher on it.
Sure. So there's this girl whose name I forget, but well, okay,
I
so
believe it's Michiru.
in a world similar to ours, there are people, but there are also beastmen, who are people who can turn into animals, anthropomorphic animal versions of themselves.
Mm.
And there's no like crossover or anything. You can't become a beastman. If you're born a human, you're a human. If you're a beastman, you're a beastman. But then one day, not Ryuko, that's their other anime. One day, this girl finds that she is a beastman now, and doesn't know how to turn back. And that's where the anime starts. She's running away from these people who are trying to chase her down.
Ah, okay. So people can turn into beast people, but there's other people who don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, basically they're two, I don't know how you say that, two different species?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
actually,
pretty much.
yeah, so that's actually one of the big deals is that girl, and it takes it, they don't, I will say that is a criticism, they don't like, it gets solved really fast, but she's the first human to ever be able to turn into a beastman, and then for a little while she actually can't turn back into her human form. Most beastmen can turn back into human.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a really good show. The animation is just beautiful. I really like the characters. I really like the arc Michiru specifically goes on.
What was her name?
Michiru.
Michiru, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm garbage at remembering specific things like names.
Oh, I'm terrible with names. For some reason, hers I just remember.
See, like I already forgot it. What Michiru? Never mind, I
Yeah.
got it. All right.
I
Yeah.
mean, I guess if
Thanks,
you like a
memory.
show and a character enough, you'll remember their name. Also helps if
Yeah.
characters say their name a lot.
A lot of people
Yeah.
say her name, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty good. It's short. It's I think it's like what 10 episodes, 12 episodes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it really goes. I mean the pace can be a little fast, and I do wish they would like expand on some story elements. They dropped some story elements completely, which I'm hoping they'll get a season 2 because of that. But the overall story is really good, and really honestly the characters' journeys, because there's a couple, are actually really really fascinating. I really like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was mostly there on a surface level. I didn't really get deep into the characters' journeys, their development, or anything. I just had a fun time with the animation, the general story, and the character designs. Like the mink lady is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah. Remind me to send you. I'll probably put the emote in here, but there's an emote I love of that character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um. I'll go into the other two movies I remember watching. Let's see. Recently, I saw a biopic, and I'm sorry, this might be like kind of boring to most people because I'm kind of a history nerd. It's called Stan and Ollie. Came out in 2018. Um, it is a biopic about the actors who portrayed Laurel and Hardy during their last tour before they passed, unfortunately.
Okay, I have no idea about any of this.
I've heard the
Yeah, I was
names Laurel and
afraid.
Hardy. Were they detectives? Or
They're like black and white, like Three Stooges era comedy
okay,
actors.
like Marx
They
Brothers.
usually they wear bowler hats is their big thing. One's a really big guy, one's a really tiny, scrawny guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you've ever
Yeah, I
seen the
think I've seen
character.
like the Looney
Yeah.
Tunes parodies of them.
Yeah, they were in Looney Tunes actually. I think they're that old.
Yeah.
They're like those. They made those movies like Laurel and Hardy Meet the Mummy and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's really interesting. If you're into history, I would only suggest it. Because biopics, unless you're into them, they can be really boring and drawn out. But I think it's pretty good, and the performances are really great. But I won't bore people with it too much because it would be kind of boring to go into detail what it's about.
I think since you bring up history stuff, that reminded me. I don't think I actually mentioned it on Shack Funk, but I saw Hamilton when they added that to Disney Plus. Finally, I
I saw that
heard
too.
about it, but I didn't actually, go and like look up the soundtrack or anything. And yeah, no, it was really good.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I need to get Disney Plus
Yeah,
again.
you've got to.
Yeah.
Rewatch DuckTales while you're at it. I finished that too.
The new DuckTales?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
It's too bad it's not getting a third season.
I thought it was on on its third season.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, what was the last episode you watched? They've been out long enough. We can spoil them.
Spoilers, I guess. The last episode I saw was, well, the stinger scene was that Fowl was, getting together.
Oh, okay,
Or whatever
yeah.
they
So they
call
don't have
themselves.
the newest season on there then.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was still going. I thought it was
Yeah.
just done after 2 seasons.
No, there's another season. I guess they just didn't drop it on Disney Plus yet.
They probably air the whole thing on their
It's on,
TV
like,
channel to
it's-
get people to subscribe to that and then drop it on Disney Plus later.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
mid-season is already, like that mid-season break. It's already been kind of off for a little bit. I'm surprised they haven't put the new episodes. I guess they're waiting until the season's complete.
Yeah, and probably a bit after that, too.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear that it's still going, because, like, I didn't feel that the DuckTales reboot was amazing, but it's a good show, and it deserves to be on the air for, I would say, one more season. Because
Yeah.
they're almost done with all the good stuff from the original DuckTales series, and now they're going to start dipping into the not good stuff if they keep going after season 3, I think.
Well, that's
just my opinion, though.
That's the good thing, though. They don't dip into the bad stuff of the old DuckTales. They dip into the good stuff of the rest of the Disney afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, I think I mentioned it before, but Darkwing is in it, Goofy is in it, Rescue Rangers. I think there's a villain from Tailspin. I don't know if the Tailspin characters are in there.
Yeah, Don Carnage is also from Tailspin, I believe. At least I
Yeah.
remember him being on that show, but...
Pretty sure he is, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they got a lot of material. Let's see. Oh yeah, the other movies I watched were I watched Doctor Sleep.
Oh,
Thought
yeah,
that
was awesome.
I've never seen The Shining.
Nice.
Yeah, I never seen The Shining,
Yeah,
but I thought this was pretty good. I kind of want to go watch The Shining
Dr.
now.
Sleep. Wait, what?
Yeah, I've never seen The Shining.
Oh my god, dude. You saw Doctor Sleep first?
Yeah, well, when
now
I go
you
to
know
my
Oh, man.
yeah, when I go to my parents' place, they don't have like streaming or anything. They still have like DirecTV or something. So it's hard to find stuff to watch that we haven't seen a million times. They have HBO, and that was on, and they're fans of it. And I was like, okay, I'll just watch it with you guys.
So did you see the Shining
Yeah,
remake
it's
called
really
Ready
good.
Player One?
Yes, I have seen.
Okay,
Ready
so you've
Player
seen
One.
their version of The Shining, so you know the highlights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read the book when I was much younger, but I don't remember a lot
Oh,
of Ready Player
okay.
One. No, not the show.
Well,
I'm
as
sorry.
long as you read the book for... Oh, wait, you're talking about Ready
I'm
Player
talking
One.
about Ready Player One. I'm sorry, Scarlett.
Dang it. The Stephen King nerd in me is really mad right now.
I will try to find the. I don't know. Maybe it's on HBO Max. If Doctor Sleep's on there, I'm sure it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
I'll
You
watch-
might not like The Shining if you've seen Doctor Sleep first, and if you've already seen, like, you've already been exposed to a lot of the imagery.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the best parts of The Shining is the imagery. What's his name? Not... Can't believe I'm forgetting this. I can picture him perfectly, but the director of The Shining, Stanley Kubrick. I don't know why I had to say the director of The Shining first, but I got the name.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick, like, hypnotizes you with his visuals. He actually did look into hypnosis and stuff like that, subliminal messaging and things like that. But not to the extent that, like, conspiracy theorists say he did. Like, there aren't... The Shining isn't about the moon landing, but he does hypnotize you into, feeling secure, and then things slowly get fucked up again. So,
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Maybe
Yeah.
this October you could
I've
watch
seen a
it
bunch
for
of other
Halloween.
Steve. Yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah. And then, like, maybe do a movie marathon so that, like, if you're disappointed with that, you can at least watch a couple other movies that you might not
Yeah.
see.
I'm As a teenager, I was a big horror nerd, but that was one of the ones. There's a few that I just like couldn't find in Texas or wasn't readily available. This was a little bit before streaming. It was only like Netflix and stuff.
Right.
That one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I still haven't seen. I've always wanted to see that.
Ironic.
Yeah. Yeah, just didn't get a lot of play, and I never find it at like the local Blockbuster or anything. I don't remember it being on Netflix
Yeah.
when I had it back then. I didn't really know how to.
You know, I'm a horror movie buff, and I haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre either. Maybe we
Yeah.
should watch that for this, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe in October.
Eventually, and then I'll watch the terrible sequels because I do love watching that.
Yeah, I love me some terrible sequels too.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street and Final Destination are the ones that I've seen all the sequels for.
Oh yeah, I love Freddy. I haven't seen all of Nightmare. I've seen most of Nightmare.
Oh, I've seen most of Nightmare. There's probably a
Yeah, I haven't.
few recent ones that I haven't picked up.
I've seen the reboots. Didn't like them. I don't think I've seen Nightmare 2, which I know doesn't really connect to any of the other ones. And I haven't seen the new Nightmare, which is kind of a Freddy movie, but kind of not. It's like a meta thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen a new Nightmare. That's the main one that I haven't seen. I just realized, and that's the one that I'm probably the most excited for, just because I love weird concepts like that.
Yeah. I heard
Like whenever
Scream
things
is
get
kind of the
meta,
better
I
version
really
of it.
enjoy it. I don't know why. It's kind of it's just a thing that I've enjoyed ever since like the Nostalgia Critic got meta in his stuff.
Yeah.
But now I look back on those movies and I go, oof. So
Okay. Well, I'll go into the one last movie I just recently saw. It was really really good. Hulu dropped it. I'm sorry. It's called Palm Springs. It has Andy Samberg, J.K. Simmons, and oh god, I can't remember her name, but the woman who would end up actually being the mother in How I Met Your Mother. If anyone watched that show.
yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So basically, the plot of this movie is this woman goes to a wedding in Palm Springs, and there's her best friend's boyfriend is there, and he's being kind of weird. She doesn't know why exactly, but she end up kind of trying to hook up with the guy. Then all of a sudden, something happens. She ends up going into this weird glowing cave, and she finds out that both him and her are in a time loop. He's been in a time loop for like, they don't ever say exactly how long, but it might have been like centuries or millennia.
Mm-hmm.
And she just got in there, and she's trying to get out, but he's kind of become depressed and just kind of like, whatever. I'm just gonna ride it out. I'm in a nice area. My life always resets, so I can do anything I want. I'm at a wedding resort where everything's paid for, so I kind of lucked out.
So it's like Groundhog Day if two people were in the same Groundhog Day, and one had been in there longer.
Yeah, but actually, there's
Yeah, or
three.
Russian
I
Doll
won't
if
spoil
two
it too
people
much,
were
but
in
there's
the
three
same-
people. Yeah. But yeah, they even try that. They're just like, oh yeah, you ever seen Groundhog Day? And then she's like, oh yeah, I just have to do what Bill Murray did in Groundhog Day. And she like tries to do a bunch of nice things and opens up to people. And then Andy Samberg's like the whole time is like, it's not gonna work. You're getting your hopes up. And she thinks it's gonna work and it doesn't. She tries drive. She does stuff that like even like Bill Murray doesn't think about, like stuff you would think about watching Groundhog Day. Like she somehow stays awake because the day resets every time you go to sleep, like Groundhog Day. She tries driving all the way back to Texas on like drugs and energy drinks and all that shit. She gets there, she falls asleep, wakes back up. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like also sort of a romantic comedy sort of thing.
What was it called one more time?
It's just called Palm Springs. I believe it's on Hulu.
Palm Springs, got it. Yeah, I saw ads for that and I was interested in it because I love Groundhog Day. And I was like, okay, I could use a knockoff. It's been 20 years and they haven't remade that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty
no
good.
Longer than 20 years.
Yeah, like I said, they try to avoid doing the stuff they do in Groundhog Day because it's clearly inspired by it. But clearly, whoever made it's thought about Groundhog Day a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of like the thing in...
Well, as long
like
as
the
they
thing
build
in
on it.
Endgame when they're like, okay, so this isn't like Back to the Future or Terminator 2, and they just list off all the time travel movies people are going to reference in reference to this time travel movie. It's like they already know people are going to say Groundhog Day, so they're just going to, mention that.
Yeah. I don't want to really spoil it, but J.K. Simmons has a small role in it, but he's hilarious in it.
Does he demand pictures of Spider-Man?
Imagine if J. Jonah Jameson was Kraven the Hunter.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a comic like that already.
Oh my god, I would love that. There's a comic of just J. Jonah Jameson hunting Spider-Man for real instead of just getting pictures. Like he becomes a super villain or a super vigilante.
That just reminded me of well, I haven't read it yet, but I want to someday, of a crossover comic that it's horror themed. I'm just gonna say it. It's Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah, I read that long time ago because that was my number one horror film franchise was Evil Dead.
Yeah. I'm only gonna be reading it for Evil Dead, but man.
I've seen Freddy versus Jason. It's not of the terrible sequels of both Freddy and Jason. It's not the worst. It's not one of the best, but it's not. It's fun if you just shut off your mind. Yeah. I know Bruce Campbell has said they tried to turn that into a movie once, but it fell through or something.
Yeah, I don't know who are the rights holders for those various properties.
I know Jason and Freddy are both owned by the same company now. Okay. Evil Dead, I don't know who owns it after, let's see, they made the Evil Dead reboot, which was actually pretty good. And then they made Ash versus Evil Dead, which I still need to watch.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, I watched like the first couple episodes and then something came up and I just fell off, unfortunately.
Yeah, I fell off it too, but it wasn't my fault. Yeah. It's a good show. I mean to go back to it.
Oh, actually, we can go into the news on top of that, talking about that. There is a news article, and you can see them all above in the chat. Bruce... hold on, it's still loading. Sorry about that.
I can read the title.
Go
Bruce
ahead.
Campbell reveals upcoming Evil Dead title, Evil Dead Rise. Sorry, I just figured I would jump in there since yours wasn't loading.
Yeah, I got the article up here.
Alright.
Yeah, so Bruce Campbell announced it. There's not a lot of details. Ash won't be in it, so I'm assuming this is a sequel to that reboot they made a few years ago.
Is it a movie or a series?
No, I believe it's a movie.
Okay.
Let me read here.
Yeah, it's upcoming film.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it doesn't quite.
So either a
say-
sequel
let's
to
see.
the newer reboot or just another reboot.
Yeah, it could be a reboot. Again, there was the TV show, which was in the original continuity, which I know wrapped up, but I don't know what happened to the character Ash in that. So Ash would be very, very old at this point, because Bruce Campbell's in his like late 50s.
Hmm.
Yeah, but not too much details on that. But that's pretty interesting. I'm actually excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for Evil Dead.
Um.
Did you ever play the Telltale game that had Ash in it?
There was a Telltale game with Ash in it?
Yeah, the Poker Night at the Inventory. It had Ash,
Oh.
Claptrap, Gladys from Portal,
Yeah, I want.
Sam from Sam and Max, and who was the last one?
The Heavy from Team Fortress?
No, that was the first one.
The guy from Venture
But
Brothers?
similar build. Brock Sampson from forget the name of the show.
Yeah, I
Adventure
think it's
Brothers.
Venture Brothers.
Yeah, I have issues with that show, but
I haven't seen it
it's
in
a really
long
good
time.
game. But speaking of gambling in video games, it's a poker game, so
Was that game on
you know.
consoles or is it just Steam? Because it sounds interesting.
Steam,
It was
I
on
believe?
both.
Oh.
I played it mostly on the Xbox, but it's on Steam if you
Well, I
want
mean,
to play
I
it
mainly
now.
do console gaming, but I do have an Xbox, so that sounds interesting.
I don't know if it would
Yeah,
still be on consoles.
good luck
actually.
trying to get the game though, because because Telltale, closed their
Oh,
doors.
yeah.
all the digital titles went
Yeah,
down, too? 'Cause I'm pretty sure, like, the Batman
For a
Telltale
while,
that's
so a
what
lot
I'm
of them come back
assuming.
up. Yeah.
because like the leaderboards caused some glitches with the game, specifically an achievement with it. So, and that was back when Telltale actually still existed, and they just never bothered
Oh.
fixing it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of them come back, but that one might be a little hard because there's like a bunch of companies involved with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not super, like, if you have a PC at all, it'll run. It's not super graphics intensive. At least, oh wait, it's a Telltale game. It might run like shit.
Yeah. That sucks. There's never going to be another Sam and Max game now. Well, unless the comic guy finds a different, developer.
There were talks of it getting revived in some way, but it would be a name only. So the properties would still be there, but not the same development team, which I feel like kind of ruins it because a lot of the writers were really important for those games.
Yeah, Sam and Max is a weird situation. It started as an indie comic, turned into a adventure game like way back in the day by LucasArts. Got a cartoon show and then went to Telltale. Yeah.
Really interesting history.
Yeah, but I know the comic guy is still active. I don't know if he makes Sam and Max comics anymore, but I know he loves those characters. He's been writing them since he was like a kid or something.
Yeah, I grew to love the Sam and Max characters after I got creamed by Sam in Poker Night at the Inventory.
Yeah.
I started playing the Telltale adventure games, which I feel like probably aren't as good as the originals. So I need to track down the originals at some point and see what
I think you can get the original Sam and Max on GOG.
Yeah, I figured. That'd
Yeah,
be cool.
yeah. It's like
Well,
Monkey Island 2, sort of.
never got to play Monkey Island 2.
Oh, it's like one of those older pixel kind of 90s point and clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's a trailer in here, but I can give a brief rundown because I watched it recently. Star Trek Lower Decks got announced. It's unfortunately on CBS All Access, but it looks pretty funny. It is basically an animated sitcom about the crew of like a an Enterprise or a starship, but they're like the lower like the janitors or like just the lower guys on the rung of a starship.
It's one of those concepts that I never thought would actually see the light of day. Also, uh, Jade, are
Yep.
you there? Okay, sorry. I thought I heard you
Oh,
talk and then you cut out, and then I realized you haven't talked in a while, so I
yeah.
was like,
No, I didn't really have
oh,
any
did
thoughts on
she?
those like the other topics. I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Yeah. There's a
Yeah, I mean, like,
light news week.
yeah, and like the Star Trek Lower Decks. I have seen the trailer for it. It looked all right, I guess. I mean, it depends on if the jokes work, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
like I'm not. I know it got a lot of negative backlash when the trailer came out, but I mean, Robot Chicken Star Wars is some really good Star Wars stuff. So like, I'm not opposed to the idea of Star Trek just going
Yeah.
full shenanigans. You know, as long as like it feels like the people behind
Yeah.
it actually care about the source material as they're making fun of it, then I feel like it could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, honestly.
Yeah, they go. There's a show that this style at least reminds me of. It's called Final Space. That was on TBS, and then it went to Adult
Hmm.
Swim. It's pretty similar, like at least in style wise, and it is set in space, and that show is pretty funny. They go that way with it, like with their kind of comedy. I can see it
Have
working.
you seen the movie Galaxy Quest? Okay.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah, I mean, tonally different, but still that was a movie that it really felt like they cared about like the tropes of shows like Star Trek, while at the same time they were making fun of them, but also it just elevated it in just some really cool. I definitely recommend seeing the movie Galaxy Quest. Basically, quick summary of the plot is we're focused on a group of actors who are basically like the actors who played Star Trek: The Next Generation, or even like the first show. It's that kind of characters. You've got like the guy who played the captain, and he's really full of himself. You got like the woman who played the Uhura, like she was just answering the communicator and repeating whatever the computer says, and she realizes that part is like a nothing part, but whatever. She's getting attention. The fans love it. So, we got like the guy who was the Wesley Crusher. He was the kid running the like driving the spaceship, and now he's grown up, and so we're focused on these actors. It's like decades after their show has come out. They're just attending conventions, talking to fans and stuff, and then these aliens show up, and they have been getting broadcasts of this TV show sent through space to them, and they believed all of it was real, and so they have built a faithful recreation of the spaceship from the show, designed to function exactly as it did even in the show, even in the places where it doesn't make sense, like this giant crushing machines in like the engine room, because that was a thing in one episode where they had to run through all the crushing machines to get to the engine. Um, so
Yeah.
you get just these really interesting dynamics of this, like these aliens are like the fans who really believe in this stuff and believe, and these actors, like they're, it's decades after, they're all kind of cynical about it, but they have to like embody these roles to live up to what these aliens are expecting from them, because then there's this alien overlord who's like slaughtering all the aliens who are inspired by them, and they have to stop the bad alien. It's a really good movie, and it's just really interesting, like the things it has to say about like fan culture and the way it elevates these like otherwise very silly properties that that fans just latch onto. And it's a comedy, so it's mostly jokes.
Hmm.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, I have to check it out.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough,
yeah, I mean, I think
honestly.
Lower Decks looks like
Yeah.
it'll be more kind of Rick and Morty-ish, like a lot of just like jokes that that could be fun, but they're not. It doesn't look like they're going for any like brilliance. Really, they're just trying to be like silly.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are more disappointed with the newer Star Trek stuff that's been coming out. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I know like Picard was kind of a disappointment. I would suggest to any of those people give the Orville a chance. I think it got marketed really badly because they try to pitch it as like a comedy, like Galaxy Quest, I guess. But it's literally just TNG. It's like they pulled all the old writers from TNG and they're just making TNG, but better, and they don't have to be shackled by all the lore of Star Trek.
Yeah, and I think because it's also Seth MacFarlane, people thought, oh, it's going to be another Family Guy. But I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I think that's also the issue. Yeah, it's all on Hulu. I know there's a new season coming out on Hulu. Yeah. Okay, so the next one, there was a leaked image of Cheetah from Wonder Woman 1984 coming out. She's going to be one of the main villains. It actually looks really faithful. I'm not a big DC guy, but I do like Cheetah a lot. It's one of the villains I do like, so I'm glad they didn't go with the
Cheetah.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't go with the stupid suit design like the older design they used to do. And actually just made her like a cheetah person instead this time.
Yeah, like I know the Lego figure came out back in like June, and that one it looked like a were-cheetah kind of. Like a werewolf but a cheetah.
Yeah, same deal. This is actually a trading card thing. Ironically, she's the Joker card, which is kind of funny, but
yeah, I mean, like, cause she's, I guess, like the cool villain, but the side villain. Because from what I've heard from like plot leaks, Maxwell Lord is the main villain of Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, I did love the first, even though it was kind of just Captain America, but in World War One. I like the Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman. That and Shazam are really the only ones I've super liked in the DCU.
Yeah, and I thought Birds of Prey was pretty good, but then I saw the Harley Quinn cartoon, and it was the same thing but better. So
I need to see the Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
cartoon.
the Harley Quinn cartoon seriously needs, like, I hadn't even heard of it until this guy I was seeing was like, hey, have you seen the Harley Quinn cartoon? And I was like, yeah, and then, no, I said the opposite of that. I said, no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And then he turned it on, and the first 10 minutes that I saw were really, really good.
yeah,
Yeah, unfortunately, that's one they didn't bring over to HBO Max yet. Same company, but
yeah, like I had seen the trailers before it came out, and it seemed like something I would like, but I don't want a service, so I didn't sign up for DC Universe. But then the DVD of season 1 came out, and I just binge watched the whole thing because it's so good. Just like a lot of fun jokes and a lot of good.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll see if I
like
can
the way
find
the
the
characters
DVD
play off
somewhere.
each other. It's like they don't. Like Harley Quinn is the star,
Yeah.
but they don't try to make her like the best person. Like she's sometimes doing good things, but she's not a hero. She like there's a whole episode where they deep dive into her mind and find that like no, she is a very violent, angry person. But yeah, and they really like. I was kind of disappointed at the end of season 1 that Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy didn't get together, but I guess they do like a slow burn thing. Like that happens over the course of the first 2 seasons. I haven't seen season 2 yet, but
yeah, I've seen a bunch of clips of their relationship, which I actually kind of like. Yeah, same way. I actually like they addressed the whole, because a lot of people who I guess maybe saw Suicide Squad. I don't know where it comes from really. Like a lot of those Facebook people is like, oh, I want to have a relationship with, like Harley and Joker, and it's like, and it just grosses you out if you've like seen the old animated series or like know the comics.
Yeah.
Because that is not a healthy relationship. That is not a good relationship. That is a toxic ass, abusive relationship.
You know, I've never actually seen one of those posts. I've only ever seen people complaining about those posts.
I've seen one
Not
or
to
two.
shut you down. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I just haven't seen it personally.
Yeah.
I just realized that. Because I agree with you. It's not a good relationship to echo.
Yeah, like I don't know. I
But
think like some of the comics writers might have tried to make it seem like more of a thing, but it is definitely like the Joker preying on Harley's affections, and that's really how it's like always been between them.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely in
Yeah.
the show for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely might try to find that DVD.
Yeah, like I'm almost like at some point I will probably end up making a free trial of DC Universe just to watch the second season without having to wait for the DVD on that.
Yeah. Okay, I think. Oh yeah, we have two more. Real quickly, the MTV, or I guess the company that owns MTV, Viacom, is reviving Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
Daria.
It's the time of '90s reboots.
Clone High. Yeah. Clone High, which I never saw. And Mission Hill, which I watched on Adult Swim, which I actually really like that show. Like, it'll be a spin-off of Mission Hill that they're pitching. I don't know if it's confirmed yet.
Yeah, no, it is the time of '90s reboots now. We just gotta wait for
Yeah.
Rugrats and the Wild Thornberries and like all those Nickelodeon shows to come back.
Oh, they've been trying to bring
Yeah.
Rugrats back for a while. I follow a lot of animation news, and there was going to be some kind of like live-action movie, but I think that got scrapped.
And I'm sure like all the I haven't kept up with TV. I'm sure all the game shows have probably already come back. Like I think I'd heard Double Dare had come back at some point.
Yeah, most the Nick ones did. What like Legends of the Hidden Temple came back as a movie.
Did they go to the Shrine of the Silver
game
Monkey?
shows.
Okay, that's the important thing.
Yes, I haven't seen
Oh,
it, but I've
fuck
seen
yeah.
clips of it, and I know they did.
Wait. What team was it?
Oh,
Was it the Purple Parrot?
I don't know. I don't even know if they go in. It's just a couple kids that find a map and then go to the hidden temple, and it's the big hidden
Okay,
temple that
because
talks.
Purple Parrots represent.
Yeah. I know they brought back Double Dare for a while. I don't remember many of the other ones,
there was like
unfortunately, so
Guts
I don't know.
and Nick Arcade.
I know they brought back one.
My brother was bigger into game shows than I was, but
I loved Nick Arcade back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember watching some chick play Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on it, and man, it hurt. Because her goal was to get 50 rings. And, man, I guess I didn't realize how hard it was for, like, somebody who hasn't played a ton of Sonic
and then
to
you're
get
doing it on
50 rings.
TV in front of everyone. Like,
But man, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like I could do that, like, no problem, but...
Yeah. But I think they also bring a lot of Nick shows back to Netflix now after the Rocco and the Invader Zim were so successful.
Mm-hmm.
That Rocco was okay, but that Invader Zim one was really, really good. Yeah. And I think they're in talks to do something with Avatar because of how successful those have been since they came
didn't they
to,
say they were
to
making
Netflix.
another live action adaptation, but it'd be a series instead of a movie. I think that's what it was they were making.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've heard something like that before. I'd have to Google it. Give me a sec.
I'd rather just have a
Yeah,
continuation
well,
of this.
like
the
another
show,
generation after Korra or something,
personally.
Yeah.
or like
Instead
an
of
in-between qual about the older versions of the original group.
anything other
is
than just a
Korra-
straight retelling, because I feel like the original is already available
Hmm.
on Netflix and it hasn't aged. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel it hasn't aged. Maybe it has to other
No, I
people.
mean, I think if it's your first time watching,
but
it still holds up.
other than
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wondering about Korra because I tried to watch it when it came out, but they for some reason were playing it really, really like early in the morning, and I was already working at that time.
And Korra is kind of
yeah,
disjointed
Korra got
because
screwed.
Yeah. So I've only seen the first couple episodes.
yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind of disjointed because they went in only expecting to do one season, so they did a one-off story in one season, and then they got renewed. Had to come up with a plan for a second season, and then a third season, and then a fourth season. So they ended up like the seasons are linked into a larger plot, but they're also kind of self-contained. It's not the big 3-act structure of the 3 seasons of Last
Yeah,
Airbender.
it makes sense. That's unfortunate. Cool. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, Korra's still worth watching. It's just not. I wouldn't say it's as good as Last Airbender.
Yeah.
But I still, if I'm going to watch Avatar, I'm going to watch Korra because that's spoilers.
Okay.
I can't spoil that. Never mind.
No,
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you, Brown Wolf?
I don't know much about Korra. I only know about the. I know they did a really cool move at the end of it. That
Oh, okay,
Nickelodeon
so you
did.
do know what I'm talking
big,
about.
Yeah.
universe-changing things that happen over the course of the Korra seasons.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't have like invisible spoiler tags in talking, because
So,
otherwise
I
would
just
get
love
bald.
seeing how technology advanced.
And sprinkle in some fake ones to confuse people.
Yeah. Sorry,
Like
guys.
how Korra turned into a giant dog.
Nah. Yeah. So the last one's just kind of a fun little article. I'm not a fan of the toy, but there is a D&D My Little Pony crossover collection they just made. And they are the little horses dressed up as, let me see which classes
Do they
have
have
here.
Warlock?
Excuse me, they're ponies. Get it right.
Is there a
What?
Warlock pony
Sorry, could you repeat that?
that is pledged to serve the Great Nightmare?
Let me see.
Oh man, I'm waiting for this to load, and I'm so
Where does
excited.
it say? Come on, tell me. They got. Oh, why couldn't they just put the actual classes? Okay, it looks like a bard, a barbarian. I don't know what the one in the grass skirt's supposed to be. A mage and a rogue.
A druid, maybe?
Maybe. I'm trying to see where it says, but they just put their names on the little cutie marks and dragons. What the hell is a cutie mark?
Cutie mark is the butt
The
tattoo.
cutie mark is the little mark that they have.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
can't really
it's their
see it
flank
because they're
stamp.
wearing clothes. But like on all the other ponies, there's little marks on their flank,
Okay.
and they're customized to each one.
Okay, here we go. The Mistara.
It's
is
a butt tattoo that represents something about your personality.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
like an actual butt
much
tattoo.
better way to put it.
Yeah, it's a butt tattoo that you suddenly gain when you discover your thing in life, I guess.
Ah, cool. Okay, I've actually found
Have
it.
you gotten your butt tattoo yet?
No.
No, not yet.
Oh man, neither have I.
Always reinventing myself.
Okay. There's a Mystara, which is a wizard. Shadow Star, which is a rogue. Valor Stronghoof is a barbarian. Spinner.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Spinner
That sounds like a name
Telltale.
someone would give their D&D horse.
Yeah, Spinner Telltale, a bard. Oh, and you were right about the last one. Woodheart the Kind, a druid. I thought that was a pretty funny concept actually for them to do. If they, I don't know
So
if
they're
they
gonna make a second set so we can get the warlock and the ranger and.
Yeah, I thought barbarian wasn't even a class anymore. I thought like in 5e.
No, it still is. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be
barbarian
available.
and fighter.
Yeah. Oh, so it also comes with a campaign, I guess, as well as one with the horses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the link's above in the chat. I can repost it though. Yeah. But, yeah, it's
Take
pretty
your
cool
characters
concept.
into Equestria.
Yeah, I would love to see them do it with like the Transformers or G.I. Joe. Actually, I think Hasbro both owns those.
Yeah, and they also own Magic the Gathering, so there have been My Little Pony Magic cards, and Transformers Magic cards. I'm waiting for some D&D Magic cards to show up though. Like they just came out with a book. Theros. There's a place in Magic the Gathering called Theros. It's like ancient Greece, and they just made a book for D&D that is Theros. So, like, there's stuff like from Magic in D&D that you can do, but they haven't gone the other way yet, and have like Minsk and Boo or Beholders or Illithids or something showing up on cards. So I'm waiting for that to happen sometime.
Okay, yeah, that explains. Eileen in the server. She was like, when she saw that, because I think I posted it. She was like, "Put Magic in Forgotten Realms," and I had no idea what either of those meant.
Yeah, because Wizards of the Coast owns both D&D and Magic the Gathering, and Wizards of the Coast is owned by Hasbro, so they can cross over with like Transformers and G.I. Joe and My Little Pony and all those. Yeah. Although I haven't really seen a lot of G.I. Joe crossover. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they do much with the G.I. Joes anymore. I think because of those
like
terrible
they put out
movies.
a couple movies and they did okay, but
yeah.
I did not enjoy those movies.
Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah, I remember Retaliation being fun in a dumb way, but the first one was just like trying to be a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And since I'm going into it knowing nothing about G.I. Joe, aside from Snake Eyes as a ninja, and Cobra Commander's the bad guy, and Cobra Commander doesn't show up until the end of the movie, I was just like, I don't know who any of these people are or what's going on. But they're really hyped about these power suits they have that can crash through buses and stuff.
Yeah. They should actually, that company should start talking to IDW. I do enjoy, I've been getting into those IDW comics. I mostly read the Sonic ones, but yeah, they have all sorts of Hasbro comics, and then they have crossovers. I know they're like doing a Transformers Back to the Future crossover. They're, I think they've done other ones like Ghostbusters and stuff.
Yeah, and I think they also headed up the Batman vs. Ninja Turtles one when that happened.
Ooh, yeah, I saw the movie version of that. That was actually really good. Yeah, I highly recommended that animated version of Batman meets the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, no, it does a good job of staying faithful to both series.
Yeah.
Cowabunga, dude.
It's pizza time.
Okay, so is there anything else any of you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess
There's like this weird growth on my toe, man.
Oh. Okay, so you know what? Before we go, there's one thing as a Shack Funk fan I did want to tell you. So I was listening to your podcast the other day, and I have to say, your new D&D character, I feel awful for.
Oh, Marini? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
My
bad
car
that
character
other
who's-
character's, like, keeping her from getting, like, a relationship.
Yeah.
That
Well,
poor
I mean,
that
that's...
poor girl.
I think, long term, if Elisa can become a god, that would enable her to be separated from Marini, and then Marini can go do whatever she needs to do, and Elisa can go do what she needs to do. But
Okay.
as long as they're in the same body, Elisa is
Yeah, 'cause I
definitely
was
more
listening to
willful. So, Elisa will override any decisions that she doesn't like.
Oh my god. Yeah. That was hilarious, though. Like, threatening to burn people's junk off.
Oh, yes! Get that thing away from me. One of the benefits of doing this voice for so many years is I can drop in and out of it instantaneously.
Oh my god.
But one day I'm gonna need to make another character. And not just keep playing the same one forever.
Okay. Yeah, the only other things is, like, I highly suggest everyone else watch Shack Funk. I guess I'll give a question for Brent, since he's been on his Ratchet and Clank. I think I left this in the fan box, but what does he think about Secret Agent Clank? Because I know that's pretty bad. I played that back in the day. I think you get on
he might have
PS2.
answered it while we were talking, for all I know.
I don't remember him mentioning it, but I don't know. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't clicked over on the server.
One of my
while
friends
we've been
tried
recording.
getting me to play that back in the day.
Yeah. Also, I'd love to know what he thinks of the Sly Cooper games. Those are like were my jam back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, he's been talking
I'm a
about like a lot
big
of
Sly fan.
PlayStation series, so he's probably played them.